Welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin and you're here just for fun. Today we're going to address a few different things. I made a video about maintenance or their lack of on chainsaws, and a few folks took offense to that. We're going to address that. First of all, we're going to go ahead and shout out Mark Cameron and his business, Geneva Products. He's got the Cherry Nut Buster. Works awesome. Your nuts unscrew themselves as soon as you pick the can up. And the amazing cleaner. We're going to be using this today. Good stuff. Mark Cameron with Geneva Products. Look him up and get you some. Fantastic stuff. So today on the bench we have here an MS260. And she's dirty. This is my personal saw. I've cut probably at least 5 loggers cord with this saw this summer. So it's due. I've done some general maintenance and cleaning throughout that time, so it's not just completely plugged up from the entire season, but it's got probably 2 or 3 runs on it since the last time I did maintenance it, i.e. taking the filter out, cleaning everything all up. So we're going to do that today. I see I got a few new subscribers. I'd like to thank you all very much. I appreciate that. We're moving on up. We're nowhere near my goal I had set, but either way, we're moving up. So I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. Again, if you like this content, you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe and share. And we'll get the channel moving even further. I'm sorry I didn't get a video out there last week. The canoe trip kind of took over and I got too busy. I had a late start starting to get ready, and things just progressed. I didn't have time to make a video. Kayla and I kind of sort of tried. We hummed and hawed around on what to do, and there was just nothing that was going to work in the time that I had available before that trip. So we are going to go over and review a little bit of the canoe trip at the end of this video. So stick around to the end of the video to see some clips of the canoe trip down the Flambeau River and some insight from me on how it went and whatnot. So let's get into it here. Like I said, the MS260. This is an older saw. I've had this saw for at least 10 years at minimum. So it's got a lot of use. You can see she's awfully dirty. Come on in, Kayla, and get a close-up on it. You can see she's awfully dirty. She's got a lot of use. Alright, and we're just going to go over the basics here today. And we are only using chainsaw tools, so tools that you would get with your chainsaw. I'm not going to be using any compressed air. I'm going to do this exactly as anybody else would at home without an air compressor or any fancy tools, okay? And the reason I'm doing this is I posted a short video of chainsaw maintenance or lack of. And I had a few viewers that had their opinions, and they voiced them in the comment section, and that's great. I love that. I love that you're commenting and voicing your opinions. I love it. I think you misread the point of the video. I understand I came off a little upset in the video, and grant you, I may have been. It is upsetting to see saws come in that condition. Here's the deal. If you go to the barber and you got knots in your hair and it's a complete mess and they got to wash it before they cut it, they're going to charge you for that. If you take your pickup truck down to the repair center, down to the shop to get repaired, and it's covered in mud and they have to wash it before they can work on it, they're going to charge you for that. It costs you extra money, okay? And I think some of you took that video the wrong way. Maybe I said things the wrong way. Maybe I didn't get my message across correctly, and I understand, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry if you took offense to the video. I'm sorry if you took offense to what I said. But here's the deal. I made that video trying to save you money. Like I said, you bring your saw in a little cleaner and I have to do less work to it to get it back to you. That saves you money. That's saving you money. The more cleaning, the more work I have to do on a saw, obviously the more time I have to put into it, the more mess I have to clean up afterwards, all right? They're messy, they're dirty. All that sawdust in there has oil in it. It tracks across the floors. It gets everywhere. It creates big messes. So yes, when you bring a saw in completely plugged up, filthy dirty, it is going to end up costing you a little extra. And that goes across the bar for everything. Your pickup truck, your hair, no matter what the case is, nobody wants to see that kind of stuff come in that condition. We're mechanics, not cleaners. So with that being said, I understand that some people don't have the means to work or maintenance on their own saws. Some people just might not even know how to take a cover off. I get it. I understand that. No problem. Bring it to me and I'll get you taken care of. It might cost you an extra couple dollars, but you know what? At least it's getting taken care of correctly, right? Let's go ahead and pull this apart. See what we got in here. Well, like I said, you know, I do apologize. I didn't want to offend anybody. I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way. Certainly. But if you put a little bit of maintenance into your own chainsaw, it is going to save you money at the repair shop. It's going to. That's it. That is what it is. Okay, now come on in here and see, this is pretty dirty. You can see that air filter has a lot of dust on it, a lot of oil. Carburetor is caked with a lot of stuff. Spark plugs looks fairly dirty in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this air filter off of here. Like I said, I'm going to do all this with just chainsaw tools, nothing fancy. We're going to get this air filter off of here. So everything I'm doing here, you can do at home. This isn't anything special. Literally loosen them 2 screws up and this comes off of here. And there's the air filter. And you can see that it is quite dirty, quite plugged. That's going to cause running issues if it gets any worse. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to clean that up with no air. Next, let's go ahead and pull the spark plug out and take a look at it. You're just going to be careful not to rip that boot on there. This has a Bosch in it, and this is an old plug. I haven't replaced this plug in a long time. And the reason I don't replace this plug is, number one, it's my saw. And even if it was a customer's, unless they specifically requested a new spark plug, I'm not going to replace it if it's running. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, and we're going to take a quick read on it. Now this saw looks like it's running pretty good. We got a nice gray color in there. There is some carbon buildup on it. Means we're getting good oil. That looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. There is a little white on it. I may have been running it lean on the last tank or so, but that could also be because that air filter is starting to plug up. So could be lots of things. So let me show you how we're going to clean this up here. Just going to grab a towel. And we're just going to literally wipe it down. All that crap off of there. Now normally to clean this spark plug, I have my sand blaster spark plug cleaner down there. I showed you guys in the last video. It's a pretty sweet little deal. If you don't have one of those, you're just a guy at home, you're gonna grab a wire brush, just like here. Nothing special, just a wire brush. Grab that spark plug and run it across there a few times. Just like that. So now we've gotten all that carbon deposits and nasty stuff off there. We've got nice clean metal around the edges. There's nothing wrong with that spark plug. There's no reason to replace that. It's going to work just fine for years to come yet. We don't waste money unless we have to, see? Now, if a customer requests a new spark plug with their tune-up, I'm going to give it to them. But I let them know when they're getting a tune-up, you know, I'll ask them, do you want a new spark plug or you just like yours just cleaned up, you know? So we don't have to spend that money if we don't have to. I certainly don't want anybody thinking that, you know, I'm here to rip you off. I'm here to save you money. My shop rates are lower than anybody else's in the area. And I catch some crap about it. So, yeah, like I say, I apologize to the viewers that may have taken offense to that short. But at the end of the day, I'm only trying to save you money. So if you took it any other way, then you need to probably sit back and think about how you received that video and how you received the information in it. Because I'm the last person here to rip you off, let me tell you that right now. I'm here to save you money, save folks in this community money. We don't have a lot of money here in this Washburn County. We are one of the poorest counties in the state of Wisconsin. So believe me, I'm here to save you money. I'm here for my community. I offer free chain sharpenings anytime we have a storm, anytime, you know, we have straight line winds or a tornado comes into the area. I'm the first one to offer up free chainsaw use, free chainsaw sharpenings. You know, I am definitely not here to rip anybody off. So I don't want that message getting out there being thrown around, because it's just not the case. I am here to save you money, and I'm going to prove that to you right now. All right, so it's the air filters next here. We're going to get into some amazing. I have a little bit of water in here. It's just a little bucket. Got some water in it. I'm going to take that. And we're going to take our amazing. It is the world's finest glass cleaner, but it also does everything. All home, auto. I mean, it just does everything. And safe for everything. All right, we're going to put a little bit of this in here. Stir that around a little bit. There you go. We got some bubbles in there. See that? Now this is just room temperature water. Warm water would be fine too. And like I said, I'm doing this no air, no nothing. You can do this at home. Take your air filter, throw it in the soapy water, rinse it around a little bit. And then if you have a paintbrush, any kind of brush, cleaning brush, paintbrush, any sort of brush like this will work just fine. You just give her a little bit of a brushing. And we just brush this up, clean it up here. That's all that's to it. Okay. Take and shake that off a little bit. Get a towel. Just give that a good wipe down. Okay, just like that. Good to go. Now, you just take and set this up in the window so it can dry off. Like so. Okay. Now I'll just take and start wiping the rest of this saw down here. We actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get the bar off. Get that out of our way. Okay, we got our air filter cover. We got our top here. We're going to clean them up. We're going to take our side cover off here. Our bar cover. See, that's not so bad in there. This is what your saw should look like after just a couple uses, you know. You don't want that to be completely caked up in there. Sprinkling out? Looks like it's sprinkling out a little bit. Alright, we'll show you some bar maintenance too when we get there. As far as this goes here, pretty simple. Straightforward. Let's just wipe this stuff out of here. You don't want to wipe down into your clutch cover, so always wipe up away. Also, you don't want to pack it into your oil air hole. I'm just wiping everything down real good. Probably wiping parts down I haven't in a couple years, you know, and I don't always get. But, okay, that does it for that side. Recoil, you could take that off there, but no need to. Once you just get in here around that exhaust, make sure there's nothing packed back in behind that exhaust. It's going to start fire or create embers that are going to fall out in the woods and create a fire. And when you bring your saw in for a good maintenance tune-up, I take the air to it and clean all this out anyways. But the cleaner you have it when you bring it in, the less I have to deal with, right? So it saves you money again. Money savings. Oil caps here and clean them up real good. Get any dirt that might be on them seals off of there. And also go in here and get the dirt out of the inside of the where that seal sits for your cap. Just be careful not to get any of this stuff in there while you have that cap off. But get that cleaned up around there. Beautiful. And you don't have to get crazy like this and get in here and clean these cracks out like I am, but I would like to get them cleaned up. See all that dust that's in there? You don't want that in there. Now air will take care of this. You just hit this with some air and it'll blow all that right out of there. So if you have an air compressor at home, you don't need to be going through this. This is just for folks that may not have access to that air. You can literally clean most of this up with air. You just spray it down with a little bit of your Amazing here in a spray bottle and then air it off and it'll clean right up real nice for you. There we go. Yeah, nice and clean. Now again, if I had air, I would go in here and clean up around in this carburetor a little bit better, but we don't. There we go. Good enough. Okay. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how I sharpen chains. There is so much controversy on the internet on what's right, what's not. One person does it this way, another person does it that way. I'm just not going to get into it. I'm not going to have that internet argument, so I'm not going to show you guys how I sharpen my chains. I do use a sharpener, and my chains come out just fine. We're going to leave that there. As far as bars go, bar maintenance is huge, guys. You know, if your bar is plugged up and you're not able to get oil down it, you're going to start burning up bars, you're going to burn up chains, you're going to burn up your clutch, you're going to burn things all out. So now there's little holes in these. Okay? See, these holes right here are for your bar adjuster. Okay, them two are there for your bar adjusters. These ones here are actually your oiling holes. So your oiling port sits right here, and then that oil flows into these little holes right here. See that? And I just cleaned that one out. Flows into that little hole there. Okay, there's one on this side, and there's one on this side, so you can flip your bar over either way. Just take a pick, get in there, clean them out a little bit like that. You can use whatever you got laying around the house. Don't have to be a pick like this, anything you have laying around the house. Bobby pin or whatever. Get down in this crack. Look at all that stuff that comes out of there. You see all that? Okay. And then hit that hole again. Give it a little blow with your mouth. Don't take that the wrong way. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. See all that gets packed down in there? That stuff can pack down in there, and your chain will actually ride on top of that. And then your chain doesn't sit in your bar the way it's supposed to. And it causes issues. Again, no fancy tools. Sprocket looks good. We can throw just a little bit of 3-in-1 oil down in there. You don't necessarily need this. Don't need to do this at all. I just like to. Okay, that's all good to go. Now another thing you would check your saw for, your bar for, is burrs on the side of your bar here. That'll cause you issues when you're cutting down into wood. It'll get hung up on one side or the other. Also, that's your flat all the way down here. One side's not lower, one side's not higher. They're both even and flat, so that your chain runs flat down there. Same thing with this side. Also, just take a look down and make sure it's not bent. Looks pretty good. Okay. But that's important that these don't have burrs on them and that this is flat. And if it's not, you can simply take a file or a sander and sand that burr or file that burr off of there, and then also set it flat and file it flat on top all the way through. And that'll cure it up and straighten it all up for you. Mine's in good shape. We don't got to do anything with it. So we'll go back over here. And like I said, I'm not going to sharpen my chain up because I'm not going to get into that with the internet world here. Mine, it's still halfway decent, so actually it does need a sharpen, but we're not going to do it right now. We make sure that our chain is in our sprocket correctly here and that it's running down our guide correctly here. Should look just like that. Yeah, get in there and take a look. Alright. And in your cover here, you can see because I keep it halfway clean, it isn't that bad. Simply take a rag, wipe that right out of there. And if you wanted to, you can take and dip this into your solution there and swirl it around and clean it up, and it would be much better, super clean. But we don't have to do that. We're not going to do that here today. Okay, that's all we're looking for. Just so it ain't got a bunch of caked up sawdust and oil in there. That's all we're looking for right there. Take your pick and get into some of them little crevices there if you want to get that stuff out. Not super necessary. Alright, and there are my guides. Just take them out anyway once in a while. And your guides just pop right back in there like so. Bang, boom. Now we put this back on. Just snug it down. And free it back up. And we'll set our chain tension. Again, a little bit of controversy on the internet. Some people say, oh, it should be tight and you shouldn't be able to pull it down at all. I like to think that if it's hanging off the bar, that's just a hair too loose. We're going to tighten it down until it just barely sets tight on that bar. Now I should be able to pull it down, and it shouldn't go much further than pulling the teeth from the bottom of the bar. Perfect. That's perfect right there. I like that. Pull up on your bar and tighten your front bolt. Now you can go ahead and tighten your rear bolt. Okay. And either use a glove or a towel. Make sure your brake is off, and check the rotation of your chain. It looks real good there. Okay, super happy with that. Put our brake on. Spin her back around here. Let's grab a fresh towel. Just some finishing touches in here. Just clean some of this stuff up. Alright, let's go ahead and clean up our covers here. Now you can see this is fairly nasty. It's definitely collected some sawdust and exhaust and whatnot on there. Just go ahead and wipe that down with our finger here. This stuff's pretty thick on there. Maybe I didn't clean this last time I maintenanced my saw. See? When you don't, takes that much more work. It's that much harder. This is a perfect example here, guys. You know, caked in this stuff is, because I probably didn't clean this the last time I maintenanced my saw. So it's that much worse this time. Takes longer, makes more of a mess, uses more paper towels. It just is what it is, guys. Believe me, I'm not trying to rip anybody off. I just don't want to have to, I don't want to have to charge you to do this. This is something you can certainly do on your own at home. And then when you bring your saw in to me, I can focus more on the deeper cleaning and the more important stuff that needs to be done in them, right? Just give her a good scrubbing. You can even use a little bit of the amazing spray. Because it's amazing. Holy crap, look at that brand new. Wowzers. Wow! Ah! Throwing shit around! Making too much noise! Okay, and the only thing left, guys, is our air filter here. Which is, it's drying out pretty good. I want to put this on there, but we're not going to fire this up and run this until I know that that's good and dry. Of course. Alright guys, and that's it for the most part. It's just that easy to just go through your saw and clean it up quick. Now this saw is ready to go if it wanted to get put away for the season. I'll show you guys what I would do if I was to do that. I'm not. I still have more work to do with my saw yet this year, so I'm not going to be doing that. But we go in here and get as much of this dust particle out of here as we can. This is our air filter housing here. And there it is, guys. Look how much cleaner and nicer this is now. If you wanted to take this into a shop for a tune-up, your mechanic is going to be extremely happy with you, and he is going to be able to focus on things that are more important than general cleaning. Like I said, to each is their own. If it's not something you're worried about spending an extra $1 on, no big deal. Bring her on in. We'll get you taken care of. I'll clean that baby right up for you. If you don't have tons of funding and you're looking to save $1 time to time when your saw does break, a simple 10-15 minute cleaning like this sure go a long ways with a mechanic. So it'll certainly save you $1 or $2. I know it would here. So now if you were to put this saw away, say I'm all done with this saw now for the season and I don't intend to fire this saw up until next spring. What would I do to store it? Another controversial deal. This goes all over the place. Everybody does it differently. I'm going to give you 3 different ways of doing it that any one of the 3 ways I would be fine with. And I'll tell you what I do for mine. So mine, I just take and mix my a small container of 91 octane, no ethanol fuel, and I'll mix that about 30-to-1. So I mix it really heavy with oil, and I'll put a little bit of that in the tank, prime it up through the system, run it, whatever. I put it away and I leave it sit. That extra oil in the fuel, it helps stabilize the fuel a little longer, and it also helps protect your diaphragms and gaskets in that little carburetor, and the needle and seat and some of the sensitive components in there. Another thing you can do, a lot of people recommend just draining it completely, running it dry, and letting it sit completely dry. Yeah, that'll work if you're not going to let the saw sit more than, say, 6 months. If the saw is going to sit more than 6 months, then you're running the risk of drying them gaskets up and them cracking and breaking on you. You don't want any of that. You know, yeah. Another thing you can do is fog the carburetor right at the end, which you would take your cover off, you'd take the air filter off, and you would run the saw and then spray a fogging oil in there of this nature. However, this will protect your piston, cylinder walls, and rings. However, it is not going to get into your carburetor and protect the sensitive components inside the carburetor. It just doesn't get in there. Even though you're spraying it in there, it doesn't get in there. It's going straight through and into the cylinder. So, you know, you can completely drain it, dry it, fog it. That's one way a lot of people do it, and you know, I will do it that way if a customer requests it that way. The other thing you can do is drain the system completely out and just put straight 2-stroke oil into the gas tank. And normally you'd only do that with a saw or a unit that has a primer bulb on it. If it doesn't have a primer bulb, you're not going to be able to run it. You're not going to be able to get that oil into the carburetor. So on this particular saw, that is not going to work. However, if you have one with a primer bulb on it, that does work. I know other mechanics that will also use that method for long-term storage. That's your best bet. If you're going to put a saw away and that saw may sit for a year or more, or anything more than 6 months even, I like that idea. Again, you kind of got to have a primer bulb because you're going to put the oil in there, and then you're just going to primer that oil up through the system, put it on a shelf and let it sit for years, and it's going to last a long time that way without drying up the diaphragms and everything else. If you use the first method with heavy mixed gasoline, that gas is going to go bad within a year. So I don't recommend doing that. If it's going to be more than a year, I only recommend that up to 6 months. So I think that's going to about do it as far as chainsaw maintenance and storage. You know, pretty easy. Again, if you don't want to take your saw apart and you don't want to clean nothing, that's absolutely fine. I mean, that is why we're here. We're here to take care of that. Just know that that is going to cost you an extra $1 or $2 at the shop. So if you can, take 10, 15, 20 minutes and just go through and clean your saw up. There's nothing to spending a little bit of time with your chainsaw anyways, you know what I mean? You're out there working with it all the time. It doesn't hurt to bring it in and spend a little more time with it. Make sure that it's all good to go. So that's it. I think we're going to go ahead and do a little recap on the canoe trip. So it went pretty well. There was 7 of us total. There was myself, my son Joe, and my youngest son Jasper. And then we had some friends, Jeff, Mark, and Jess that came along. So 7 of us total, 3 canoes. 2 canoes with 2 people, and then my canoe with 3. I forgot Daryl. Daryl was in there too. So I had Daryl in the front of my canoe and Jasper sitting in the middle of my canoe. And then there was Jeff and Mark in the lead canoe, and my son Joseph and his friend Jess in the center canoe. So yeah, it went good. We left on Friday morning, got to the river. It was really low. Some of the guys were even hesitant in getting in, but we were there, so it's like, let's go. And So we shoved off, and first day went pretty well. Joseph and Jess, they got hung up in some rapids and got pushed up onto a rock, and yeah, we ended up having to paddle back up rapids to rescue them and empty their canoe out and get them straightened back out and on the river. Joseph lost his water socks, so he wound up not having any shoes the rest of the weekend. He also forgot his tent. I don't know how you do that. 3-day camping trip and you forget your tent. So he was bunked up with me all weekend. That was nice. I didn't sleep very well with my 2 boys in the tent with me for some reason. So other than the lack of sleep and a couple mishaps, it went really well. We caught a lot of fish, a lot of smallmouths, walleye. We ate a lot of fish. It's fantastic. Just doesn't get any better than that. So the camping part was fantastic. The actual canoeing part was a little rough. Like I said, low water. We had to get out of the canoe and drag quite a few times. So it was a lot of work this year. I'm hoping the levels come up for next year. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do some serious thinking on whether I want to make that trip or not, or at least that leg of the trip. I don't know. Because that was a lot of work, more work than fun almost. Saturday was awesome, but Friday and Sunday they were workhorses. So anyway, that's the gist of the canoe trip. Other than that, everything went well. Good eating, good friends, good camaraderie. We all made it back safe and sound with no injuries. So that's all that's to it. I think that's all for today. We're going to probably call it here. Again, thank you for everybody that subscribed since the last video. Again, I'm sorry I didn't get a video posted last week. Hopefully this makes up for it. And again, I'm here apologizing to folks that may have taken offense to the lack of maintenance video. I did not mean it to be that way. I don't mean to come off as a mean person. And I truly am just trying to save you money. I guess I may sound a little bit of a jerk when I'm trying to put that out there for you guys, but I'm sorry if you took it the wrong way, but yeah, I just want to save you guys money. So until next time, you were here just for fun, and I'm Justin. Have a good one. All right, here we got Joe and Jess. Good job, boys! All right, our turn. You ready, Jasper James? All righty, here comes Jeff and Mark. All right, boys, your turn. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, look at what Jeff's doing. Holy moly.
Don't hit the tent.
Jasper, watch out for the tent, bud.
Well, that's how you fry fish, huh?
You got the firewood?
Right here.
All right. You better get it over there. I think they need it. How's Joe?
I'm okay. You?
Good. How's your trip? How's
Good
your
so far.
how's your toe doing?
A little sore.
Did you lose anything?
Yeah, my shoes. Yeah,
Hey, did you forget anything?
yeah, my shoes.
Did you forget anything?
My tent.
Your tent.
Pretty essential for a camping trip, wouldn't you think?
Have paddle and canoe. You're ready to go.
Leave it to Joe. Relying on the old man. He had to bunk with me last night. Unfortunately, I think the kids stunk worse than me.
No, I think it's the other way. I heard him ripping some. He was ripping pretty hard.
I was doing a little ripping this morning.